Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Kelvin here, and in this video I'll be talking about some VS Code extensions that are very helpful for my workflow. And if you use VS Code, you may find this useful, or maybe you already use them, but let's get into the video. First up on my list is Ninth Owl. This is a theme for VS Code. I'm someone that likes beautiful user interfaces, so Ninth Owl is a very nice theme that really just works for me. So here's my code, a Vue.js component, and if I disable Ninth Owl, this is what it looks like, and enabled, it just looks a lot better. It looks calm, it looks nice, and it encourages me to write more code. Next extension that is key for me is ESLint, and I'll add Prettier as well. A lot of times people use them in combination, but they have overlapping purposes, I guess. So starting with ESLint, you use ESLint to define the rules of the code. So basically how code should be structured, the code style that you want your team to use if you're working on a team project. Also, one of the benefits of ESLint is that because it's an open source project, it has contributions from the communities in several languages about best practices of those languages. So you can import some of these rules that have worked in these programming communities for a long period of time. So for example, ESLint can flag when you've defined a variable and not used it. So here in my code, I have defined a variable called country and I haven't used it. So if you hover, you would see country is declared but value is never read, and this is from the ESLint configuration. I can either choose to use this or remove it. So that's ESLint. Prettier, on the other hand, is mainly used for formatting your code, and you can use this to determine what type of formatting you want. So it has a configuration file like ESLint where you can define a lot of things. You can define whether you want single quotes for strings or double quotes. You can define whether you want trailing commas, and the list goes on. That way, when you are writing your code, you can configure Prettier to automatically format your code based on this configuration. Next thing is, if you're programming, it doesn't matter the programming language. If you're using VS Code, there is usually language support for that programming language, whether it's Python, JavaScript, and even with frameworks like for JavaScript, for example, React and Vue, you have framework support for those as well. I do a lot of work with Vue, so one of the extensions that is very useful for me is the Vue Official Extension that provides language support for Vue. This just helps you to highlight things like your code and helps your editor to better know how to highlight attributes and things like that. A nice addition to language support is to have an icon theme. This allows your file names to have icons with them. So here you can see my Vue files have the Vue icon, TypeScript files have the TypeScript icon, and so on and so forth. It's just nice to have, not required for me. So we have set up the environment for the editor. How do you put your code together? One of the extensions that is very useful to me is Vue Code Snippet. So many languages have code snippets, and since I work with Vue a lot, I use Vue Code Snippet. What this allows you to do is to use trigger letters that will bring a pop-up for code that you can automatically add to your project. So for example, the trigger for the Vue Code Snippet is VB, and you can see automatically I get a list of suggestions, and Vue has Vue 2 version and Vue 3 version. and depending on what type of setup you want, I use TypeScript with setup, so I choose this, and once you enter, it gives you the base boilerplate for a Vue component. So very handy. There are many other triggers as well. As you continue building your project, as you continue working, one cool extension is GitHub Copilot. It's kind of like a pair programmer that works with you, and Microsoft has made a free version of it, so I definitely would recommend. I use a paid version, but even the free version also offers a lot. I made a video about this, so you can check the description to see this. But it basically helps you with code completion. You can ask it to refactor code, you can ask it to leave comments, you can ask it to document your code. I used it for a big refactoring task recently, over 2,000 lines of code, and it helped me to walk through that code. So I highly recommend it. If you have been enjoying the video so far, now would be a good time to leave a sub to the channel and leave a like as well. Once you're done with all of the work, you've put together a project and you want to collaborate, push it to the cloud, one extension that's very useful is GitHub pull requests, and it allows you to work on your pull requests within VS Code, so you never have to leave VS Code. Here I have a pull request that I've opened, and you can add the description for what this pull request is for. You can add reviewers, you can add assignees, pretty much everything you can do on GitHub, you can do it right here. And once you're done, it gets merged, and it also updates this here as well. Alright, those are the main extensions I work with. The bonus extension I'll add is an SVG viewer. I do a lot of UI work, so sometimes you get icons that are SVGs. I can preview them in VS Code by default. So you can install this SVG viewer extension to your VS Code, and it allows you to preview SVG icons. So I have this SVG here, and I can see this preview. If I click on it, it allows me to see what the SVG looks like. That's pretty cool. And yeah, that's all for this video. Please leave a like if you have enjoyed the video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. May the code be with you. Peace.